Hello, my name is Jenna Bosiger, and you're watching Cryptic Cryptid's YouTube channel. This episode started when I found a picture on the internet that someone posted of what they claimed to be a dogman. When I saw it, it reminded me of one of the pictures that I had taken of what I thought looked like a dogman. I decided to compare the two. Mine was taken at Black Mountain in the San Jacinto Wilderness, and I went up there one day with Timber to go on a landscape photo shoot because it had just snowed, and I didn't go far from my car. But I remember when I took these pictures, I took like 5 or 6 pictures because I was getting really cool lighting effects. And I didn't see it at the time, but now I can see what looks like a dogman figure crouching, holding one bent knee with the other knee touching the ground and one arm extended out, looking right at me with a long snout and big, tall, pointed ears. I would say that it looks more like a dog than it does a wolf, because proportionately the ears seem much larger than a wolf's ears, and it's black, and if I had to guess what dog it looks like, I would say it looks like a Doberman, but bigger ears. So now what I want to show you are some of the most convincing photos of dogmen that I found on the internet. Now, I'm not taking credit for any of these pictures, but I think it's important that I'm able to show them and critique them without worrying about any copyright issues. And so, according to the fair use doctrine, it shouldn't be a problem. That being said, let's take a look at them. Okay, first I want to show this picture that I took when I was doing my cryptid research, and I found this grass that had been matted down, and this was a really weird area. That's where I found the dead red hawk with his head ripped off and heard the knocks. And this was like a place that I've been going back to and had repeated things going on. And this was taken in Michigan. And this was taken in Louisiana. This really looks like a strange creature there with pointed ears. This on a trail cam, it does seem like the deer is noticing this dark figure over here in the bushes in the background. You can see the shape of a dog man in the corner up there. I zoomed in on it. Then we have this one also taken in Louisiana. And in Louisiana, the Honey Island Swamp Monster. They also go by the rougarou, which I think is just a kind of Cajun version of loup-garou, which is French for werewolf. It's from Maryland. And then this black and white one from Michigan. I don't know if it's an old picture or if it's just that it's black and white. This roadside dogman. This one said to be from Wisconsin. And then I put this picture of this wolf standing on his hind legs, looking similar. Also looking similar, this creature who's said to be from the Holly Hills in Michigan. This creature is a wolf creature. It's a wolf. It's from somewhere in New York State, but it's just the way it's standing. It almost looks like it could morph his body. Speaking of morphing of the body, I've heard of a close encounter dogman report. This guy saw this wolf creature, and then he heard 2 distinct clicking sounds, and with each click, the wolf, stood up on 2 legs and was then 7 feet tall. It's not the only time I've heard about the clicking sound, but I think it's interesting because maybe there is something to this idea of something morphing into another creature, but it's just got turned into something really, really, it just got exaggerated over the years into this werewolf creature. But really, it's just that these wolf creatures are able to stand up and walk on 2 feet when they want to. Picture says it was taken in Quebec, Canada, and in this lower right corner here, you can see a creature that looks unknown. These are photos taken from a video, and I saw the video. It's from Saskatchewan, Canada, and this hunter and this dog, the dog was, you know, pretty aggressive towards this creature, and the creature was crouched down, and the dog started coming after it, so the creature had to stand up. And when it stood up, oh my gosh, it's huge. I'm not talking like, oh, normal wolf huge. This was like a horse. It definitely looked like a dire wolf. And this one says it comes from Michigan, another one from Michigan. This creature is from Texas. And another one from Wisconsin. This unknown one, but I think it would be hard to hoax those red eyes. So that's pretty good. And then this one just caught my eye because like the silhouette with that hunched back, it looks kind of like a Cocopelli Caccina. And then there's this creature that was down by the river, unknown location. I mean, it looks real unless it's someone in a suit hoaxing, which I just cannot stand hoaxers. I don't think it's cute, funny, but for some reason, these 2 pictures, I don't know why, I thought it was kind of funny. But, you know, the thing about it is it's obviously a hoax. So, you know, hoaxes are only funny when you tell. I did my best to get the locations of where all those current recent sightings are. And now I want to compare those locations with the locations of ancient sightings. And the ancient sightings being in the form of petroglyphs of dogmen type creatures. There is a definite correlation between the places where those dogmen petroglyphs are and where current dogmen sightings are coming from. Let's look at the petroglyphs that I photographed from the Rodman Wilderness in Southern California. These 2 petroglyphs have a snout, ears, and then this one even has a tail. And, you know, he's definitely standing on 2 legs, looking like a wolfman or a dogman. We have this one petroglyph of what looks like a dogman creature coming from a place called Sanilac Petroglyphs in Michigan. And Michigan is like #1 dogman hotspot. And then Piney Creek has a lot of petroglyphs that I thought looked a lot like dogmen. And these are coming from Piney Creek, Illinois. So you have this, you know, one here looking like a dogman. There's others scratched in that are even older and a little more difficult to see. So I tried to color some in so that you could see them better. But they look like dogmen. And then there's this one scene of these hunters They look like they're dogs that are pulling down some other kind of creature. Is it just a deer? Are they hunting with the dogs? There's something going on, but then, this is all from the same location. You see these wolves down here, and it's like people are standing on top of them or something. And then this other tall figure with his bow and arrow shooting at these smaller figures. I mean, why would people be standing on wolves? It's all very strange. I think that this came from Piney Creek, Illinois. It's just so amazing. It's got, on one side of his face is a human, and then on the other side of his face is a dog holding up a glass of something. This one, looking like either a wolfman or birdman of some kind, comes from Little Cottonwood River. And this one looks like it comes from New Mexico. I couldn't find a place, but I really wanted to include it because it looks like it has fangs. It's just scary looking. This looking like modern day werewolf right here. I mean, it's amazing. This group of petroglyphs comes from the Utah County. They come from a place called 9 Mile Canyon in Utah. It's an hour drive from Skinwalker Ranch. Why are these perfect dogmen petroglyphs coming from a place where there is currently all these reports of dogmen creatures? Is it a coincidence? Not likely. It's one figure of a man looking like he's getting ready to get on all fours, like morphing into a werewolf, a dogman creature. And then I just got this group coming from Capitol Reef, Utah, which isn't, it's still in Utah, but not in the same location. But this one with this strange creature coming from Petroglyph National Park in New Mexico. This is the Wolfman petroglyph from Utah. It's literally called the Wolfman. Okay, this rock here is somewhere along the Salt River in Missouri, but the location is secret and private and undisclosed. But let's look at them before we talk about that. His feet, these legs, very strange. Like pointed toes. Why did they portray him like that? And these tall figures fighting. They do look like two different species. And one does look taller. What about this one where this theme of the man and a dog morphing into one creature? You have this half of the body here and then this top half of the wolf next to it. More like some kind of a battle between these two different species. And then here's that one figure running away, but look at this figure on the end. It's like you see it morphing into a four-legged creature, into a dog, into a wolf. So I'm just amazed by these petroglyphs, and I'm looking a little closer, and I see this etching into the stone next to it, and so I start researching that. Come to find out, it's a mark symbol from the fraternal order Knights of Pythias. These petroglyphs at this location in Missouri. It looks like this battle took place between these dogman creatures and humans. I mean, you can judge for yourself. They seem like they're important to North American history. So looking more closely at this mark that's above these petroglyphs, practically on top of it, it was deliberately put in relation, having to do with the petroglyphs that are here. And, this vandalism didn't come from some group of drunk teenagers. It actually came from the oldest, most well-known fraternal secret society in the United States, the Masonites, a sect of the Masonites, I guess, called the Knights of Pythias. So I found all this out because I started researching it. The Masons are best known for making things in stone, and the second best thing they're known for is their love for secrets, and their love for keeping these secrets from the public as a means of having power and control over the ignorant masses. And they especially like secrets about ancient human history and human origins. And it just seems unfair for somebody, for any group or person to keep the truth about the public from the public, whatever their intentions are for it. It's wrong. Putting a price tag on the truth and on information is BS. So these are on private property on an undisclosed location somewhere along the Salt River in Missouri. No one's allowed to go there, off limits to the public. And is that fair, really? Okay, so that was a bit of a detour, I know, but, I had to kind of, oh, wait a minute. So sometimes when I'm looking for mysteries, I'll put strange combinations into the search. And this time I put in Knights of Pythias, Dogman. And while there is no Knights of Pythias Dogman, there is a Knights of Pythias Wild Man. And here he is, literally called the Knights of Pythias Wild Man. Well, first, why would this secret society be interested in stamping their mark practically on the top of this dog morphing into a human? Well, according to my research, these petroglyphs are usually put in the same locations as whatever it is they're describing visually. So they're known for being obsessed with secrets. They wouldn't have put a stamp here if this was all there was to it. They obviously know more. What could they know? Maybe underground, this race still exists. They have these other cryptic pictures and artwork of all the secrets they know, but in code. I just think it's interesting that the title of this is Odd Fellowship. Fellowship is a friendship. An odd fellowship would be one with Dogman Werewolf, wouldn't it? This guy doesn't belong in this photo. Now, the fact that he's got this axe used to behead people is not strange at all, because, as you can see, they're known for doing a lot of rituals, strange rituals, symbolic, and I got a couple pictures. Why do they all have horns? What are they symbolizing? What's the symbolism for that? And then this one, they're like all standing around this guy in the middle looking like... Anyways, it's like they're all walking around maybe to protect him, maybe to keep him secret. And then these other two dark figures, dark winged figures on the outside, maybe to protect the secret, protect the group, protecting the secret. What's the symbolism between this ritual? The name of this ritual is Ride the Goat. So I want to tell you about my great-great-grandma and my great-grandma who grew up in the Canadian wilderness. Now, my great-great-grandma was Blackfoot, and she was scalped by her own tribe for marrying a white man. But she lived through that, and she had her daughter who was my great-grandma. And my great-grandma used to talk about growing up in the Canadian wilderness with wolves and lougaroos. And when she would tell me about lougaroos, I imagined them spelled Loogaroos. So it's like lougaroos, you know? There was something really weird, scary about the spelling. And I remember that's always how I thought that it was spelled. Then later on, I would find out that it's lougaroos, which is French for werewolves. And that makes total sense because my Nana, my great-grandma, was Blackfoot and French Canadian. So she talked about, I don't know if it happened more than once, but being followed home by a wolf, and it was at night. She was alone in the Canadian wilderness, and she had to walk backwards facing the wolf the whole time so that it wouldn't attack her. And then she also used to sing this song called Cecilia about this girl who got eaten by a pack of wolves because she would go out at night and she wasn't afraid and she just used to want to have a good time, and she ended up getting killed by a pack of wolves. And then the other thing that she used to always say is to never invite anybody into your house unless you know them, because they could be a lougarou and they may try to trick you into getting you to invite them into their house, but they can't do anything to you unless you invite them in. And I thought that was interesting because it's actually a common theme in the paranormal about having to invite things in order for them to interact with you. And, metaphorically speaking, like, for example, the Ouija board could be considered, playing with the Ouija board could be considered a way of inviting these kind of things in. And, even with demons and stuff, they always say they have to be invited in. And so I thought that was interesting that my Nana was talking about werewolves like they were like a real everyday thing. And that's going to do it for this episode about everything werewolves, dogmen, petroglyphs, and everything in North America. And I hope that people will remember that wolves are being slaughtered in the United States, and people are trying to end wolves completely. So hopefully, if anybody cares about a dog, who's ever cared about a dog in their life, this should matter to you. Anybody who likes dogs, this should be important to you. That's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, bye.